rich in anecdotes and real-life instances, should prove to be useful, particularly since it comes at a time when almost everything in this country is fiercely contested, and we are grappling to come to terms with deep divisions that run through us. At no point in the past have we perhaps lived in such trying times, despite our tryst with the emergency in the mid-1970s. Among the very many things that we find upsetting, what roils a sizable section of us the most these days is perhaps the perceived shrinking space for free speech. We are less tolerant of contrarian views. The rights to dissent that should be the bedrock of any decent democracy is believed to be seriously endangered in India. There are many who, consequently, feel we are in the midst of an undeclared and worst form of emergency. But unanimity is sorely missing from our lexicon. Not everyone agrees with the dark parallels currently drawn with our past. The jury is consequently out on the current state of health of the world's largest democracy. In fact, when Prime Minister Narendra Modi described it as the mother of all democracies during his September 2021 visit to the US, it only triggered another raucous round of disagreements. Those in his favor hailed the statement, while those against dismissed it as hollow rhetoric. As charges and countercharges fly on almost anything and everything that dominates public discourse, with no consensus anywhere in sight, we are undeniably becoming more divided and polarized. This tell-all book, relying on reflections of my eventful editorship at Outlook, as well as my earlier stints as a fledgling reporter struggling to make his mark, seeks to tell the intriguing story of contemporary India in an honest manner. The media, they say, mirrors society, warts and all. In India, however, it has been in the news mostly for all the wrong reasons. Journalists are supposed to be objective, tasked with telling every side of a story. They are also meant to be free, fearless, and not favoring anyone. But the reality is a far cry from what journalists, the pillars of the Fourth Estate, originally stood for. A divided polity has meant an equally divided media. One section never tires of unabashedly batting for those in power, while the other spares no effort in criticizing the establishment. With battle lines so clearly drawn, there is growing concern that truth could be, and often is, the casualty. Though not exactly a paragon of virtue, with several inherent flaws pockmarking my own persona, I, as a journalist, haven't ever swung to extreme positions. Call me old school or old-fashioned, I have been a centrist all my life, preferring to call a spade, unencumbered by political likes or dislikes. My personal beliefs or choices haven't ever colored my journalism. Further, my stint as an editor did give me the rare privilege of taking a closer look at what could be the best obtainable version of the truth. Every time something big happened, triggering more divisions and debates, I got to look at them as an impartial observer. I tried, as much as humanly possible, not to be partisan in my views and get to the bottom of issues. I dare not say what I concluded and what Outlook reported were the ultimate truth, but our reportage was indeed unburnished and unbiased, even if not universally liked. We held on to our ground and scruples as much as we could. That was also the case when Outlook did its much talked about missing cover in May 2021. It was the time when the country was being singed by a debilitating second surge of COVID, resulting in deaths and desolation on an unparalleled scale. We calculated the potential costs of putting out such a cover that had every chance of becoming controversial. It did. But never did we flinch as journalists in pursuing what was only the right course. We never wished to be complicit in the large-scale deaths and instead chose to call out what we considered a near abdication.